This is my review of Aimsweb, specifically the Nonsense Word Fluency Assessment. So Aimsweb is a progress monitoring system based on direct, frequent, and continuous student assessment, designed and produced by Pearson Publishing, that provides continuous, actionable data. Their goal is prevention and remediation. In essence, Aimsweb is designed to help teachers match interventions and instruction to changing student need and therefore prevent academic failure for at-risk students. With the scoring and data to capture technology, results can be reported to students, parents, teachers, and administrators via a web-based data management and reporting system. Aimsweb markets itself as an effective RTI framework, which is evidence-based, systematic, and frequent. So it starts at the beginning, Tier 1, where you can do benchmarking. The software allows teachers to assess all students 3 times in each school year using the universal screening tools. Tier 2, Aimsweb suggests strategic monitoring of at-risk students on a monthly or, if chosen, a bi-weekly basis in order to evaluate the effectiveness of instructional changes. And finally, Tier 3, which is the regular process monitoring. Aimsweb allows teachers to write individualized goals and determine a realistic progress monitoring schedule. Nonsense word fluency can be assessed and monitored at all 3 levels of Aimsweb. So Aimsweb offers something called the Test of Early Literacy, or the TEL. It is used to identify students at risk for reading difficulties and monitor their progress in kindergarten and early grade 1 as they move on to the pathways of good reading. The 4 measures are letter naming, letter sounds, phoneme segmentation, and nonsense words. According to the Aimsweb website, in 2000, the National Reading Panel identified some critical pre-reading skills that should be assessed in kindergarten and early grade 1. These are included in the Test of Early Literacy. There are 33 standardized and individually administered alternate forms per grade for kindergarten and grade 1 in the Aimsweb software. So what does nonsense word fluency actually assess? Being able to read nonsense words means that the student is able to link the written code with the most common sounds in the English language. According to a 2004 study from Fuchs, and Compton, while nonsense word reading fluency is an important and predictive indicator of reading fluency in grade 1, it is actually not as predictive as word reading fluency. And in a 2008 study from Ritchie, she found that there's some variability when nonsense word fluency is used to make progress monitoring decisions about beginning readers. She found that nonsense word fluency cannot be confidently be used in isolation when looking to make predictions about future reading abilities. Rather, it should be used as one of many tools, as Aimsweb also suggests in their tests of early literacy. To administer the test, no special training is needed. Any personnel can administer it. The nonsense word fluency test is administered in 1 minute to ensure its doability. Students have to read consonant, vowel, consonant, pseudo words, and they can either say the sounds of the nonsense word or they can read the full word to score points. So here are some sample words. Bim is one, so the student could say bim, or they could say b-i-m. And in both cases, they would score points. Like many of the tests, you show the student a few practice words, and then you give them 1 minute to read as many words as they can properly of these pseudo words in 1 minute, and then it is scored afterwards. The nice thing about Aimsweb is that if you're using the web-based tool, you can very quickly tap any words that are said incorrectly, which allows for a quick analysis and review of how the student did. So Aimsweb claims that it uses powerful measures that are simple and brief, accurate and predictive, efficient and efficient indicators of student achievement that guide and inform a variety of decisions. Aimsweb is sensitive to student improvements in short periods of time, and any increase will be reflected in rising scores on the graphing tools. Scores are linked to suggested instructional decisions for prompting positive achievement. These 2 graphs are screenshots from the Aimsweb website. The yellow graph on the left is from the original computer-based software system, while the white graph on the right is from the newer web-based system. Aimsweb is able to graph and compare current and previous scores as well as the change of rate of improvement, or ROI. An interesting note is that Aimsweb allows you to compare the ROI of ELL students to other ELL students or to typical growth norms, making it useful for a diverse group of learners in your classroom. This will allow the teachers to set realistic, challenging, and attainable goals for the students as shown on this screen. Aimsweb compares when the student is starting to other similar student profiles to help set reasonable goals given the time frame, and it'll alert the teacher if students are not progressing as expected. Here you can see that Aimsweb will rank order students by performance so that you can quickly see student scores and who is or isn't making the cut points. This allows you to quickly focus on who needs the most support or who may need a change in instruction. If you choose Aimsweb will compare the scores to local school district, provincial, and national norms. In the American version, it can also give state test prediction indicators. Alternately, a teacher can set cut points to more closely match local norms if that is more appropriate. So in 2009, Ardoin and Christ compared Dibbles and Aimsweb and their own research-created oral reading passage to evaluate the validity of each curriculum-based measurement. They found that the estimates of standard error were smallest from the research-created passage, followed by Aimsweb, and then the Dibbles passage. So it seems that if, in the case of oral reading fluency, Aimsweb results hold more strength and validity than Dibbles, but not as much as the research-created passage. The National Center of Intensive Intervention, an affiliate of the American Institute of Research, one of the world's largest behavioral and social science research and evaluation organizations, has also evaluated Aimsweb. They found that there was convincing evidence to prove the validity of the Aimsweb nonsense word fluency test. Specifically, the reliability of performance and slope of growth was considered accurate and predictively valid. The National Center of Intensive Intervention found that the tool is sufficiently sensitive to student improvement and was predictive of year-end benchmarks. Aimsweb has also conducted its own studies with regards to validity and reliability, most recently in 2012. Now, I would take these results with a grain of salt because Pearson is a company who wants to make money and they're doing their own research. And in their research, it does also indicate that the tools are valid and reliable and predictive in a strong manner. There are also a number of reviews on the internet from teachers, but the most recent I could find was from 2015, so perhaps the newest web-based version has not yet been reviewed by teachers. For the most part, teachers understand that the information they are getting about their students is useful, but most feel that the time involved in administering the benchmark assessments and probes, scoring, and data entry negates any usefulness of the program. Aimsweb seems like an excellent tool, and I do wish that they offered a free trial because I would be interested in trying it. I am concerned about the price and time required to enter the data. The newest web-based version does seem more time efficient, as many of the progress monitoring assessment results can be analyzed almost immediately. Aimsweb does offer lots of literacy, foundational universal screening, and progress monitoring tools. I particularly like the goal setting tool as it helps to guide the teacher in setting achievable goals and realistic goals. In my opinion, there isn't enough literature available to truly determine the validity of their tools. Unlike Dibbles, that has a plethora of literature and studies about its validity, Aimsweb seems to need more time to establish itself. Overall, I was impressed with what I learned and could see that Aimsweb could either help a school establish a new or support an existing RTI framework.